This whole thing really driving me crazy. Need somebody to know, somebody to have, somebody to hold. It's easy to say, it's never easy. I kinda like the wind under the pain. Now the day blinks into now. You know it hits me from let my guard down, then you pull the rug. I was getting kinda used to being someone you love.
All right, we are live. Take it away.
Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday show here with the Festival Addicts. You know, Bernard is so much better at doing all of these introductions than I am. So I'm just going to go ahead and introduce who's going to be on the show today. So hello, Kelly.
Hi, Pooja.
Hey, Olu.
Hey, Monique.
All right. And we are ready. So as always, there's been quite a few, very many developments that have been happening, you know, since we've gotten into the new year. And one of the biggest things that a lot of us here at Festival Addicts has really been interested in has been Groove Cruises going on sale.
Yeah, definitely.
Groove Cruise.
The sale for everybody just started today, right?
It did. So,
What's the sailing? When is it?
So it will be sailing January 20th through the 24th.
2022.
2022, yeah.
So a year from now, like 3 days in a year, yeah.
Exactly. Almost exactly. No, exactly 1 year. Well, tomorrow it'll be exactly 1 year. Yeah, and it'll be on the Royal Caribbean's Mariner of the Sea, which is apparently the biggest ship that Groove Cruise has ever been on. Wow. And it will be sailing out of Orlando at Port Canaveral or something. Yeah, Canaveral. Yeah, and it will be going to Lebadee, and then it'll be back. So that goes on sale today, and it's literally going to be so fun. I think it has a 4,000 person capacity. So it's going to be, you know, like really fun. They've already announced the themes. You can get on the ship as low as $6.99, especially if you're in a quad, then it's $6.99 per person. And I mean, it goes up from there as you go, you know, further up the ship, and you upgrade your cabin, you know, to balcony and stuff like that. But it should be really fun. Sure, what's up?
I've been on one Groove Cruise, but I'm not in like I wouldn't consider myself like in the Groove Cruise family. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the first time I went, I felt like a conscientious observer and not like necessarily like an active participant. So I know with themes, I didn't feel like the themes when I went, like, and this was when I was even more innocent, were that accessible. How do you feel? Like, what are the themes this time? How do you feel about them? Like, do you feel like they're pretty accessible? Do we like? And then, like, what are the programming? Have they? I think it stops at like Atlantis, right? Or it stops at Nassau in the Bahamas, and they have some other cool like programming already up, I think, right?
Yeah, but I don't think that this one's not. This one is just going to Labadee, which is the private paradise that they have. So this one is not. It's usually the cruises will stop at multiple locations. So it'll go to like Nassau, it'll go to Cozumel, it'll go to all of these different places. But this is a different cruise ship and a different cruise cruise destination, essentially. So it won't be able to do all
those places. It's not the route.
No, yeah, it's not stopping on these particular ones. So for this particular cruise, it's not going there. But I mean, I guess the Royal Caribbean, this particular ship can go there. But they do try to change the locations to kind of mix it up a little bit, because if they continue to go to the same places over and over again, people get burnt out of it. And that's really what happened with the West Coast Groove Cruise, because they kept going to Ensenada. They kept going to Ensenada. It was like Ensenada, Catalina, and everybody got tired of it, so they stopped going. And so they couldn't they couldn't get a better charter, and so it was just
Has Group Cruise
So
been
it's
on Royal
nice.
Caribbean before? When I went, it was on Celebrity. So it wasn't on
Yes.
Royal Caribbean. Is this have either of you been on this boat, or have either of you been on a
Not
Royal
this
Caribbean
boat.
cruise?
No.
No, not this boat. I've never been on a Royal Caribbean boat. Kelly, I think you did, but
Oh,
with a
wait.
different cruise line.
Yeah.
What was Holy Ship? Was Holy
Uh,
Ship
Last
Royal
year's
Caribbean?
was Royal Caribbean, sorry,
last-
Friendship was Royal Caribbean, and then I think Holy Ship was a
Norwegian.
year yeah.
Norwegian.
I got the themes up if you guys wanted to know the themes.
Yeah.
Oh
can you share
yeah,
the themes?
I sent the graphic to Olu trying to get him to get it up, but I don't think he's gotten it up yet. But yeah, go ahead, Kelly. Tell us the themes this year. Oh, before we do that, if you're not familiar with any of these like party cruise lines, a lot of times they will have day and nighttime themes for the duration of the cruise. And it's just kind of like a really cool way to get everybody who's on the ship involved and kind of like togetherness. And it's just really fun to show your creativity. So Kelly, go ahead and tell us what the themes for next year will be.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting because Grove Cruise does do 2 per day, and the other cruise ships only typically do 1 per day. So lots of outfit changes. The first day, always, it's going to be represent when you leave the boat. So or when you're getting on the boat, leaving the port.
Is that the
night,
one that's like you wear the color based on how many group cruises you've been on?
Yes.
Does that represent?
Yes. It could also be from where you're from.
where you're from,
Oh,
or
okay.
Cali stuff, you
Yeah.
know, whatever.
Got it.
However you want to interpret your represent. And then that night's going to be holiday hoopla. So any holiday theme.
Mhm.
So I always think that's fun because I like Halloween. So I could just wear Halloween stuff.
Yeah.
Friday day is 50 Shades of Disney. I know they've done that one a few times. That night, Friday night's 80s prom. Saturday day is team up. I always like team up. That's
Team
where
up.
you and your
I know,
friends
me too. Yeah.
all do a group outfit together. I always think that's cool. Saturday night is Fire and Ice.
Cute.
Sunday day is Pink Party. That's cool. And Sunday night is Area 69.
Yes.
So
So
alien
the-
extraterrestrials kind of stuff.
Yeah. And that is the new theme that they chose because we're, the particular port that we're going out of, and, NASA's there. So it's the Space Center's there. And so they wanted to have like something space related. They wanted to have like a space related theme. And so there was like a shuffling of all of the themes around so they can accommodate that.
That's cool.
And,
The graphic they make is always really cool. Compared to like
Yeah.
other things that I've seen, they don't, I would say like, aside from like one dressing like the theme of a festival, I think the only people who do themes right are Groove Cruise, where I actively see like a majority of the people participate, and like they're fun. It's fun to participate, and they're proud of participating, and like they're not embarrassed of like looking like creative. Like Groove Cruise, that community does a phenomenal job of doing that. Like I've never seen any community like that.
I feel that, and this might be a little bit of an outdated version of Groove Cruise because I haven't been on it in several years now.
Yeah.
But I've always felt like the people, it's their opportunity to flex, to show like how much money they can spend on these outfits. And some of the outfits that they do for these scenes are like so amazing and so like, it makes me wish I had money to buy like that, like signature custom, specifically made for them outfit that girl has over there. You know what I mean? But it's cool. And I like that. They can really get into theme.
I think that's why I felt like such an observer and not like a participant of Groove Cruise, because it was the norm for so many people to have custom like outfits like that, or at least if they did it looked like they did. Monique, some of your stuff, I mean, you make it custom for you, but it looks like very professional, at least to me,
I hope it looks professional.
Right, yeah, it looks like amazing. That's what I meant. Like it looked like, I don't know.
My first rave mom showed me how to go to like the 99-cent store and buy a t-shirt and rip it up and get some iron-on patches and like just really make your outfit with like bargain rave. Like that's how she showed me how to rave when I first started.
Yeah, like everything looks so expensive, whether it is or not. Like I have no way of knowing because some people do an amazing job, which is like a little amount of stuff. But like that's, I think, why I felt like such an observer, because I don't do that kind of stuff, that I was like, whoa, the norm here is to really like participate. Like it really is. Yeah.
Yeah. And if anybody does book with Oh, if anyone does book with Groove Cruise, there is a Groove Cruise crafters group, and that's where a lot of people will go and they'll share ideas and they'll do their work in progresses and bounce ideas off of each other. So it's like it's a really big part of the community, this costume making. And there's a lot of DIYers there. Like the work that a lot of people put in and do, it's really phenomenal. And that I really, and that's like my favorite part of Groove Cruise outside of the food. So, but that's definitely me.
I didn't get to go through it too in detail, but I saw they put out a little infographic about like what perks come with like each room. And I don't know if I went like if you get a suite or balcony suite or ocean suite and like different things get included in it. I thought that was pretty cool.
Oh, that's really cool. I haven't seen that. After I got my reservation taken care of, I haven't really checked any emails or anything. So I'm gonna have to look at that because I upgraded my cabin this year because it'll be 2 years since I've done anything. So I have me a nice little balcony. It's gonna be nice.
I'm gonna just pray for all y'all because I know everybody really wants this to happen. I'm just hoping that the world will be in a better place by then.
Me too. Yeah. Me too.
But
But
you've heard some things about them doing studies related to like cruising and safety, right? Like
right, yeah, but we were going to get into that in just a second.
Minute. Yeah, okay.
But there has been, and Jason, who is the founder of Wet Travel and Groove Cruise, he's been really transparent with us about everything going on. So as new developments happen with the cruise industry, he's very open to letting us know everything. So I feel that we know as it's happening. Like I don't feel like there's like a crazy lag. Like he finds out and then he tells us.
Yeah.
So they are trying to find ways to make sure it's safe, and but it's still a year out, and who knows what's going to happen. But we're definitely going to talk a little bit more about like the coronavirus and everything. But there's been some news releases from some of our favorite festivals that I think we should talk about before we get into that. And the first one is Tomorrowland, which everyone knows is my all-time favorite music festival on land. And so it's, of course, nothing happened last year. And so it's supposed to take place this July. And everyone who had rolled their tickets over from last year, will still have their reservations and everything to go. But they did release some some news announcement, essentially, that they were going to be meeting with the Belgian government and all of the different governing boards in March to see whether or not the event will take place this July.
I still think it's too soon. I even feel like the chatter in the groups on Facebook are all like, we live here. It's not happening, guys.
That's what I was going to say. There's in the Facebook groups, there's pictures of locals are like, usually at this time of year, people are starting to set things up, even little things.
Yeah.
Like, no, there's no action going on in Boom right now. Nothing.
Right. Yeah. And it's crazy because this is the weekend. Like it's supposed to be this weekend that Global Journey was supposed to go on sale. So like we should have already seen everything. Yeah. So we don't even know if it's going to happen this year. I think, Kelly, I'm going to follow your lead on this one and how you kind of feel about everything. And I don't think it's going to happen either. There's just way too many variables, like Americans aren't even allowed in the EU right now. So, and I'm going to say I'm not going to say a bulk of the participants and the attendees at Tomorrowland are American, but there's a nice percentage of Americans that go.
There's this magic about Tomorrowland where people come from like every part of the world to come and attend Tomorrowland. So if we don't have vaccines in place, and if there's still areas that are subjected to like, inaccessibility to such things by the time it comes around, like how sad would that be? So I feel like the smarter move would just be to wait until things are more settled, till everybody can come.
Is it really Tomorrowland if not everybody can go from everywhere? Like it doesn't feel.
Yeah. Because certain countries aren't allowed, or if, their cases aren't, in control, then that is going to be a super spreading. And I was talking to a friend, and this, none of this confirmed, but he has been attending Tomorrowland for 15 years. And so he knows people. And so they were talking about, there's possible like EU regulation and guidelines and negotiations that'll take place. There's a possibility that they're going to require, negative COVID test 72 hours before flying. Plus they're going to have on-site COVID testing, plus testing when you get to the airport going back. And then you're still going to have to wear a mask. So I can see that playing out, but that just doesn't sound like fun. Like, I feel like seeing people's faces and just vibing with everyone, I just feel like that whole thing is going to be ruined because, you meet people, you hug people, you guys share, like you guys have drinks together. And it's just, I feel like with this virus and especially with some of the mutations, I don't know, like, I don't feel like Tomorrowland will be as magical.
If you can't see people smile, then it's like, I don't know, like the physical act of smiling, like creates more smiles, right? And like inevitably, like the masks are like essential, definitely, but like it almost defeats the purpose of like a lot of the feeling.
Yeah.
Just stupid note for me, but because I'm so deaf, like I can't hear anybody anyways, and I can't imagine being at a music festival
Reading
where the
lips.
music's booming and I can't even read their lips. I'm just gonna be going like, what? Huh? What did you say? Like over and over again. So I hope at some point in the future there'll be a festival.
Yeah. I rely on reading lips a lot. Yeah, same.
Yeah. So, in addition, Coachella also, the mayor of Coachella, or the mayor of Palm Springs also put out an announcement, hoping that Coachella could return in the fall.
Yeah, I think it said, obviously nothing for spring,
October,
but fall, very optimistic.
I hear Golden Voice is helping partner up with some vaccination sites in like Riverside County and San Bernardino County.
That is so cool. I didn't know that.
Really? I did not know that.
Just thinking about that instead of everybody like in my heart, I was like, I wish that we could just like all collectively agree, just do everything we can to get everybody vaccinated. Like all the industries
Starbucks
come together.
is helping.
Yeah.
Golden Voice is helping. I know Starbucks is not related to, festivals, but yeah, there's a lot of people that are just like event industry experts that are like, hey, this is an event and no one knows logistics. Like scientists, science, let us we'll collaborate on logistically helping you get this out to as many people as possible based on your science. Like we'll handle the logistics, you handle the science, let's work together.
I like that. Yeah. That'd be so cool.
I feel like we could get everybody vaccinated if they had like festival security and everything handling it. Like I think we could.
We need Pasquale's like over signage so that we know all your directions from like a mile away. I always think he does that very well for all of his things.
There's
like
lots of signs.
Lots of signs, lots of cones, lots of direction. So we need that.
Yeah, I think. Because I read somewhere that they were saying that they were going to get 100 million people vaccinated in 100 days. So that means 300 million people will finally be vaccinated by the end of the year. But I don't know, like that just, it seems like it's taking a very long time to get people done and get it done, like it's crazy. It's crazy.
All we can do is hope for the best and hope that all the powers that be make smart decisions and keep everything going forward.
Yeah. But speaking, I know you guys were talking about how like Golden Voice is going to be helping, Starbucks is going to be helping vaccinations. Like, somebody was talking about, Pooja, was it you that they converted Dodger Stadium and like some hotels into vaccination sites? Is that true?
So Dodger Stadium was a testing site. That being said, at the very end of its like time, there were a lot of false positives or false negatives, or it wasn't the most accurate testing site. I guess that's a good way to put it in the end. But as opposed to trying to fix it and get uncontent, whatever, they were just like, I want to scrap all testing at Dodger Stadium and we're just going to make this a vaccination site. Because at this point, we need to be vaccinating more and testing a little bit less. Yeah. That was sort of the mentality. So they believe that they can vaccinate 15,000 people a day. And then that they're going to replicate that same model for a couple big, like the Pomona Fairplex, big convention centers that are just going to replicate that drive-through model to get people vaccinated.
Okay.
yeah, I don't know too much. Yeah, that's about what I know from logistics.
Yeah, I heard that same kind of thing is happening like in Arizona. I think Cardinal Stadium in Phoenix.
Yeah.
I think it's in or something like that.
Yeah, Misa was
that was
saying.
also that it was also turned in or going to be turned into like a vaccination site, which I think is great. If the more people we can get vaccinated, I mean, we can build up some kind of immunity. And then maybe just maybe with all of that, we might see some type of normalcy by next year. That's what I'm hoping, assuming nothing crazy happens. I know Dr. Fauci did mention that, it's a possibility that live events could only be coming back next year, but or at least by fall.
Mm-hmm.
So let's hope that we can get a number of people vaccinated so we can get something. What are you guys' thoughts?
Definitely. I want everybody to get on board. I know there are still like symptoms, and we've known people that have had like some semi-negative reactions to the vaccine, but I still would hope that everybody would want to get one.
Yeah.
That's my hope.
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think the biggest thing I want to see is, like I'm saying, I'm excited to see Starbucks and Golden Voice and like these big like experts in supply chain logistics start to help out with these things, because I think sometimes like there's not a lot of trust when things are rolled out, but when you start getting like industry experts involved, then that can I think really help build public trust and really help, like help with going forward. Like that way Starbucks makes sure that all of their employees are vaccinated, and their Starbucks in every single city. Like there's probably 10 Starbucks in every single city in the country. And that's like a good calming precedent to normalize getting vaccinated, because like Kelly was saying, it is scary, and it's totally okay for people to be scared and have concerns. This is like, no one's ever lived anything like this before, but the more like our leadership and everyone can normalize it, and the more we learn like that, the more hopeful,
Yeah. So my whole thing is like, I understand the importance of mask wearing, and I wear one like every time I go out, but like they're super uncomfortable, and we all know that.
Yeah. No one.
But like, when do you guys think, and this is just you guys' personal opinions, that we might be able to transition from mandatory mask wearing to it not being as mandatory?
I don't
know. I couldn't say.
I think there's going to be two timelines. The first timeline is going to be for outdoor. I think we're going to get there probably by the end of this year, where people will feel comfortable not wearing masks in an outdoor environment, because you can control a little bit more of your separation from people. You're not crammed in together in a sweaty club. You're not, right? Hopefully, at least like maybe in outdoor environments if people are crammed together, but I still don't think we're gonna get to cramming together for another year. Like even if we have festivals, they're not gonna be this, if that makes sense. They're not gonna be crammed together festivals. I think we'll
like
get out of like none of those back in the mosh pit kind of things. So I think we'll get to masks for outdoor things this year. We already have take off your mask for out the dining. So I think that's a more graspable transition. But I think indoor, I think we're going to be wearing masks indoors until next year.
Yeah, and
I think so.
Yeah, I could see that happening. Speaking of indoor, there was a study that was done in it was like a collaborative study in Japan as well as in Hong Kong, and they actually did like a simulation of how fast COVID can spread in an indoor like restaurant, cruise ship, buffet area. And so CNN did the report on it, and they had all these participants come in, and of course they had to like wear masks and whatnot. And then they put like this blue light activated or this blue light kind of paint on one particular person's hands. And then they just kind of let everybody go through the buffet and eat and everything. And then after, I don't know, I want to say it was like 15 minutes or something, they turned the black light on. And they saw exactly how fast COVID or how fast this black light paint actually like transmitted and was kind of everywhere. And after 15 minutes, every single person in that room had
some form of paint.
Yeah,
really?
some form of paint on them. Yeah, it was crazy.
Geez.
Like
Wow.
I watched it. So and that's how fast this virus can actually spread. So, I mean, being outdoor is definitely a lot better than being indoor, but this is essentially like what everyone needs to know. Like if one person has it and it's not controlled, like how fast does it spread? So then when they repeated the study, and this time they required like constant hand washing and the changing of utensils, and, you know, not allowing people to bring like their dishes back up to the buffet line, and, you know, changing everything out. At the end of the time period where they were watching and observing, there was a significant less amount of individuals who had this black light paint on them. So these, you know, protective measures and social distancing, it does work. So I think this is really important to like restaurants as well as festivals and nightclubs and everything that's indoor, including cruise ships. Like this is kind of like exactly what would happen on a cruise ship. And I think it's really important, like, for this information to be known, and how it spreads, and whether, and vaccines and everything, because it's really going to affect whether or not we get these massives that we all have come to know and love. So,
what is the refund policy for group cruise?
So they are recommending that you get travel insurance, and they want you to include on your travel insurance purchase cancellation for any reason. They want to make sure that you at least have that. So you want to have some type of travel insurance. They did say that they would be willing to work with you, because they know things come up and it's still changing, and, you know, the cruise board and everything
Right,
is, they're still
strain of this
trying
virus
to
that we
work
still
it
don't
out.
know anything about. So who knows what the world's going to look like in a year? Yeah.
In a year, exactly. And with all of these crazy mutant strains coming out, that's kind of, it's really interesting. So, but I believe that once we know something, they'll tell. Once they know, they'll tell us. And they're supposed to be doing some test cruises this year to kind of see how well it can not spread, be contained, and what protocols that they need to put in place to keep everyone safe on board. And that's going to be really important. And I equally hope that we get to a much better place, so that way we don't have to wear masks, because I really don't want to wear a mask on group cruise. Like, I want to see people's faces.
Right.
You know, they do sell masks that have the clear plastic right here. So you can
It's
see
foggy and gross. I don't want to.
I watched somebody go around with it, and it didn't fog up even when she was talking and everything. So I was
Oh,
like,
really?
yeah, I forgot to ask her where she got hers from.
Well, that would be very important information. That if they provide that for everybody, I think it would be,
That'd be better.
okay. Yeah.
Is a face shield not, a face shield's really not effective without a face mask, right? Yeah.
Right.
You can't just wear a face shield. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely
No.
not. So, but that's really important. And I think transparency among companies and their, you know, patrons, I think that's really important. But there's one other thing as we move on. So we all come to know and love Insomniac and Papa Pasquale.
Wow.
But there something is getting ready to take place that has me even questioning it. So apparently Insomniac passport payments are getting ready to start. So Pooja, you are actually a passport member. So why don't you tell us what's going on?
So, I mean, we don't get a lot of communication regarding Insomniac Passport. We did a little bit when they actually added some events onto our passport during the pandemic. So they added EDC Portugal, which obviously is supposed to be happening in June. And then they added Boo in Orlando in October, which was like a normal event. Like, it was at 25% capacity for like the square footage. But like in terms of social distancing, like they required masks. That's it. They didn't require people to like, so there were no pods. You bought a single ticket. It was just a normal event. Like, this was back in like Halloween last year. So they added both of those events to the passport, and then they didn't communicate about anything else, basically. And I understand that like they're not in a place where it makes sense to have somebody working on passport full time. Makes sense, right? Like the program's not generating revenue. So like, but like they don't communicate with us all at once about issues that could be addressed at once, as opposed to then having to like get a backup of like a bunch of emails. So I know Jesse, who's from, a lot of us know Jesse, and Jesse actually did that interview with me for, what was just in Taiwan? Ultra Taiwan.
Yeah.
He went. So he and I did that interview, and it's on YouTube if you're watching and you'd like to see it. Jesse actually emailed in because he's living in Taiwan still there, and he's living there, and he's probably not returning to the States in like the immediate foreseeable future, about like the status of payments on his passport, because we were told that there would be, the plan was to start up back again in March. We were told this back in like the summer, and that they would give us up to 3 additional months as a grace period as long as we didn't go to any events to like restart. So the latest we could hypothetically restart would be in June if like you're in a situation like Jesse, but that was back in like the summer that we were like looking about like, okay, it's summer 2021 is going to be happening. But like the reality is we're not going to get, let's just chalk it up, right? We're not getting anything in March.
Right.
Not in America, right? We're not getting anything in February, not from Insomniac, not in America, right?
Right.
We're not getting anything in May, not at this point, not anything, So like for you to restart payments like in March to me is like unfair and unethical. So Jesse had emailed them to ask like, is this still the latest? And she he sent that email like in November or even before, like September, October, he sent that email, and she just emailed back like Insomniac saying like, yeah, the plan is to restart in March. So
does that mean that they plan on moving forward with EDC Vegas?
That doesn't mean anything. That just means they plan on rebilling us.
Oh, so they're going to bill you guys and you guys can't go anywhere?
As far as we know, we can't go anywhere.
Wow.
Because we don't find out anything before you guys.
To make the event, maybe they don't have any funds left.
I mean, I know it's hard. Like, I get that. Like, it's hard for everyone. But I feel that the whole purpose of the passport was to be able to go to these events. You could request them and go. So,
well, it's just like buying a ticket. Like, why would you buy a ticket to something and not be able to go to it? Like, this passport's not any different. Like, it's a passport, but it's really just tickets.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand where they're coming from if you like have not paid off events that are supposed to be taking place this year, because like there's supposed to be EDC Vegas and there's supposed to be EDC Mexico, even though I don't think Mexico is on the passport. The new festival that they were planning to have in July, what was it, in Long Beach or Newport or something like that?
Right. Day trip's probably not happening at this point.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get if you have like EDC Portugal or if you have a ticket that you didn't pay for, then I can like understand them starting that up. But if like you don't have anything on your account, I don't quite think it's fair.
But even if you do have something on your account, then you did give them $20 additional to RSVP for that ticket. So so I would like expect to be treated like a normal ticket holder, whether it's $20 or $200. Like if you're not having an event, refund me. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And that makes sense. Like I agree with you. Like I totally agree with that. So Pooja, I do have a question because I'm not part of that passport family. Were the drive-ins on the passport?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
But we did get an email to give us like access to first buy them. But it like literally 2 hours later, like they gave it to more headliners. And so it wasn't like I got access like a day or like a week before. To buy tickets, but no, there weren't any discounts. It wasn't on the passport. Only EDC Portugal and Boo Orlando got added as far as I'm concerned, and then day trip, but day trip hasn't happened.
Okay,
I think that they just need really clear, like once they're 100% sure that 100% this event is happening in like 2 months, and then they could be like, well, we'll restart the passport then. That's the only way in my mind that's like even fair.
I just don't think they're actually going to restart the passport. And I think it was really unprofessional of them to send that email back to Jesse and be like, yes, we're starting them back up in March. Like, why would you put yourself in a definitive answer if like, how can anyone say anything about what they're going to do in March? Like, I can't even say, like, we don't even know if there's going to be curfew in March. Like, we didn't think there was going to be curfew in December. You know? Like, we don't know anything. To be fair, there's multiple strains of this virus. I'd like to I don't like to, I'm just going to say, I don't know anything. And I think it's kind of foolish or irresponsible of Insomniac to just like, be like, yes, we're starting this up back in March and we have like full, I don't know, like for what, for who, like why, who are we kidding ourselves? We don't know. No one knows anything.
Yeah, no, I agree with both of you, and Kelly, definitely what you're saying. If it's definitive, like they know for a fact that they're going to be able to have it, then yes, I believe that they should start the passport, payments back up, because then there's an event happening, people can get their tickets, and then you pay for it. I get that. Like, I think that's totally fair.
Yeah. But the reality is they have no way of knowing, because like all
Right,
they know
yeah.
is what Dr. Fauci is the expert. It's like
Yeah,
right. So like fall 2021, like that's what he
Yeah.
said. I'm going
Yeah.
with the experts. I'm not going Insomniac. As far as like, if you want to tell me like what the next coolest stage design is going to be Insomniac, you're the expert. But if
Yeah.
you're going to tell me when live in-person experiences are going to be able to happen because of a science reason, I'm going to the science expert.
Yeah.
You know,
There's luck in that response, and I agree with it, absolutely.
yeah.
So, but yeah, that's the new thing. So I think if anybody is on the passport and they've got their opinions on it, let us know. But since we're on the topic of Insomniac, this is a really like that. It's messed up what they're trying to do by starting payments again in March. But in
They make money other ways.
Yeah, and what is the big thing that Insomniac is doing right now?
Electric Mile.
Yeah. So Pooja, you did your live stream last week on Twitch. And so tell us what your experience was. Like, what do you think of it?
So I thought it was phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Anybody should go if they're a fan of this music, a fan of lights, a fan of being alive and smiling. If you are a human or a puppy or a child, go. Like, I think you could bring pets to this. I've seen some people take pictures with pets in their car.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's allowed. Yeah, bring whoever. I'm sure the puppy won't pay for their seat in the car, but bring whoever you want. Amazing. 10 out of 10. Bring your mom. Like Monique brought her mom. I'm gonna bring my mother. Like,
yeah.
So we got VIP, which is a good move, because we were on like a tighter schedule and we went later at night, so they had built a line. It was Wednesday. So we got VIP. It was 140 divided by 4 people, so 35 each. We got the little, we have it here, my Electric Mile goodie box.
That came with the ticket?
Yeah, so it came with like one little mug with candy in it, some popcorn.
Wait, is that one per car or one per person?
One per car.
Oh.
Yeah.
So y'all got to share one cup? Isn't
Yeah,
that
well, we put other things in there, pins and like.
Okay.
Yeah, so we just all sticker pack. They gave us 4 of the diffraction glasses, but these are only $250 each if you buy them up at the window. So honestly, like, don't buy VIP if you just want diffraction glasses. Just spend $250 and these are the cool. Like, oh my god, like it's a whole other experience out of the freaking diffraction glasses. Holy, I forgot what it was like to wear those. Also, it's been a year and a half, but.
I miss my diffraction glasses.
Yeah, they had them for a really good price, which I think, like, honestly, why isn't every single promoter at any venue of anything selling diffraction glasses for $250 with marketing on them? Like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
But the music selection was extremely smart. They did a really good job of picking like songs that a lot of us would have like nostalgic memories to when we're like messed up or like at a club or at a rave, and we all like those songs trigger a lot of memories for us. But they were like sing along enough for like kids to feel like empowered by the music. Like Martin Garrix and like, Big Room. They had a lot of Big Room.
Yeah.
Pascal apparently curated the music himself.
Yeah. And it's really cool. So if you're not in California, then it's in Arcadia, California, and it's at the Santa Anita Park. And essentially it's 1 mile, and they brought in all of the art installations from 5 different events. So all the Wonderland. So it was Beyond, Nocturnal, and Escape. They also had Countdown as well as EDC. And so they just brought like the light installations from and some of the decor from a lot of these events.
And even the stages.
Oh,
the Connecticut Cathedral is in there.
Yeah, I know. I was like so happy to see that. Granted, it was like a 10th of the real size, but that's okay. Like I appreciate.
I never thought I would see any version of it in person again. So
yeah. So I mean, it was beautiful. Like I really think it's great. Kelly, we gotta go. So
Kelly, have you been?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I didn't spoil it for myself before I went. I tried to just like stay off, like I skipped through people's social media and stuff.
Yeah.
So it gave me like a pretty good fresh perspective on it. But I would say that like I did feel a little bad for my friend who was driving. I mean, Monique, you drove.
Yeah.
I don't know if like, I would feel like personally, if I was driving, it would have taken away from my experience. But I can't. You like maybe for you it didn't matter, you know.
I like driving, so it's okay. Like I
I
didn't
am
mind.
a terrible multitasking driver.
Yeah,
So
same.
I would definitely not be the one that should drive unless I might hit things.
I
Like
think that
that's very
consideration
possible.
is important. As we didn't think about like, oh shit, if you're driving, then like it's gonna affect.
Yeah. I do recommend you go twice. If you happen to get stuck driving the first time, I think the second time you go, you should not be driving. I did go twice. So the first time it was a lot of me taking video. I was real good through the whole thing until we got to right around Escape and they have the contortionist dancers. And his body went in directions that it shouldn't have gone. And I was almost in one of the light installations. I had to catch myself, but no, but it was really cool to not give anything away. I definitely, it's all ages. They have multiple times for the evening and it's every single day. And I highly, yeah.
Sorry.
They had Pixel Forest there, right?
Yeah.
I
feel like
Pixel Forest.
Cars at Disneyland, you know, the Cars ride where they go on the track and it automatically goes. Like, I really wish it, like, the car ride, like, that's out the door. Like, this was obviously League's better, but if I could combine the two and get my car onto a track and have it go.
Like a car wash?
Yeah.
I would have
lift your car onto it.
And the other thing, too, is I'm shocked Insomniac, I mean, part of it might be, like, sanitation or VIP, I don't know, or whatever, but I'm shocked that Insomniac didn't offer, or someone didn't offer, like, I would honestly get a limo for that. Like, me and my friends, and, like, have a sunroof, like, open so you could come out.
But girl, some of those turns were really
I think they said no buses too.
Yeah, I don't think a limo would have been able to get through, but I think a convertible, if you could get like a driver with a convertible
or a Jeep or something like that. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. Devin, when they went to Hard Summer, like the Fest Pass year, they took all the doors off the Jeep. And they drove it from LAX to San Bernardino, like him and Donuts and all the boys. Like, So apparently that's legal in California. Is you can take the doors off the Jeep. So that's another option if you'd like.
I think it's only legal for Jeeps. I don't think any other car.
Only a Jeep. Yeah. If you have a Jeep.
Yeah, so I highly recommend Electric Mile for everyone because that is currently happening. It is a very good social distancing event. You do not have to wear a mask if your windows are up, but if you're going to roll your windows down or if you are in a convertible, everyone must be wearing a mask in the car. And they do enforce that. They've got people kind of walking through and everybody's masked up and so they really do. It's really a well done event. Like I really love it. I
hope they tour it. I hope honestly, like when I was doing my live stream, a lot of people watched it from the UK/EU just because they come from like a community of the video game I play that has more players from Europe. And they were like, oh, I wanted to check this out because like there's nothing like this in Europe. Like there's nothing like this in Ireland or in England. And like there's nothing like this even in San Francisco. So I hope they bring it up to Vegas or San Francisco. Like I think we were talking yesterday about like them doing Vegas, like electric drive through Vegas.
Yeah.
Electric drive through people. And just this.
Yeah, I would I'd consider going to that.
I think it's a great idea to move it and make it a tour so that way everybody gets to do this.
They'd hire a lot of people.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure they can find performers everywhere, or at least have their performers go with them.
They usually do that.
Yeah, I think they can definitely do that. So that's one event that is taking place that is a legitimately good social distancing event. Our last thing that I want to talk about before we end the show was just announced. So Pooja, you want to tell us about Seismic?
Yeah, so Seismic released their 3.3. This is their third rendition. Seismic is thrown on in Austin by a local techno promoter. So it's mostly house and techno. You're going to get the Walker and Rice, Side Piece, Steve Darko, Claude Von Stroke. Kind of the Dirty Bird meets like the Bob Moses, the other kind of, techno, house and techno artist. So it's definitely an older crowd. It is considered a boutique festival. So like 5,000, like 3 to 5,000. It's not like massive. The planned dates are the second to last week of May. So for Memorial Day weekend, and I think these were the original, or I think this was the week after EDC. Usually Seismic is the week after EDC. It's usually the same weekend as Movement, but Movement hasn't announced, I don't believe.
Right. And
but if you're familiar with
they will,
Movement, or if you're familiar with Crossed, Seismic is going to cater to the same group.
Okay. So that's scheduled to take place, and are tickets on sale, or is
tickets
this,
are on sale? Yeah. And assuming this event will happen, buying your tickets early will have been a smart move, because they will sell out and they will scalp and flip very, very well, because it is a boutique festival and this lineup is extremely like impressive.
Yeah.
But that's a big, again, if it's happening. That being said, I do trust like Seismic as a promoter. The last one that canceled, they rolled forward tickets and offered refunds. So I don't imagine it would be any different if like this rendition of Seismic couldn't happen.
Yeah, they're not Ultra, so I think that'll be good.
Which, Olu, our voice in the sky, is there any update on Ultra as far as you know, or does anyone know what happened with Ultra Miami? Nothing, right?
Any memes on the Ultra like fan page of them like pretty much trashing Ultra. I think from a PR standpoint, like Ultra really handled this really bad. But from a money standpoint, like a lot of people did chargebacks, and like Ultra won a lot of, like they lost some of the chargebacks, but a lot of those chargebacks, like Ultra, like it was in Ultra's favor. So we don't know what's going on.
So you filed a chargeback.
No, I
and
didn't.
Ultra won.
But I know a
someone.
lot of people. Oh, okay. You're saying like if someone
if someone filed a chargeback and they lost and Ultra won, so that means they have to keep their ticket, right? Do they lose the perks? Because they were supposed to have chosen those perks a long ass time ago.
I mean, technically, I guess they still keep the perks. It's whatever is in the contract. I guess that's what stands.
That's
so if they get the perks as per the contract, then.
But you were supposed to pick a perk, and then they had a deadline for you to pick a perk.
Yeah. So I guess they didn't pick the perks, but I don't know. But it's. I mean.
Yeah, because if you picked a perk, that would be like legal evidence of you accepting it or whatever.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's safe to say Ultra isn't happening in March. I don't know about Miami Music Week, but we'll see if they come back in 2022. But I just hate, I mean, it's a lose-lose situation. Like, I get it that people are angry at Ultra, but, like, there's so much money involved. Like, they must have lost a fuck ton of money and are losing more money. It's just really bad for the whole industry. But hopefully we all get vaccinated and, it's safe. But, like, I don't know if any of you know anyone in Florida, but apparently, like, Florida, no one is really following, like, the social distancing. Like, they're having packed parties
It's business as usual in Florida.
Yeah.
My friends who post from Florida, like, I haven't seen one mask in any post that they've ever posted.
Right, so.
Well, I mean, people may not be taking pictures in masks. Like, I can get that. But I understand Florida, they are so backwards out there.
Home base announced, home base in Orlando, they've moved the Dirty Bird campaign that was supposed to happen last year. They announced those dates as May 14 through 17-21.
Interesting.
That's very realistically happening because Florida's wilding out right now anyway.
Yeah.
And then home base Orlando is, obviously EDCO weekend.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we want to mention before we close the show out?
No.
I think we talked about everything.
Tomorrow's a big day. Stay safe. We are transitioning power.
Everybody stay safe. Stay safe.
It's the
Stay warm.
A new era.
Dawn's a new day.
Yeah.
People straight up were like quasi like panic shopping at the grocery store. I'm not even gonna lie. So.
Oh wow.
Just for a little bit. For a little bit of wipe shelves. That's it.
And I know it's taken Ralph's a long time to recover from the madness of last year.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So if there's nothing else, I want to thank you guys all for being on the show. So as we close out, why don't you tell everyone where we can find you on social media? We'll start with you, Kelly.
You can find me at Kelly Arianes on Facebook.
Pooja. And Pooja?
You can find me as Pooja _shenanigans on Instagram and Twitch.